think 168 is just a cheaper Alibaba, you're thinking in the wrong way. Yes, if you look at it from a simple context, you will find most of the time cheaper prices on 168 and Alibaba. But there are some things that you are grossly overlooking. So let's look at an example of an article published by World First on the main differences of 168 and Alibaba. So 168 is mainly meant for the Chinese market. What does that mean? If you're buying something that's, let's say, an electronic device in 168, let's just say it's a smartwatch. I don't have a smartwatch on me, but you get the point. And you buy it straight from 168 without communicating with the supplier how you want the specs, you're probably going to get something that's totally in the Chinese language. The user manual's in Chinese, and it's going to be useless to you. So if you don't give some context, you're going to run into some issues of everything being localized for the Chinese market. It's not that 168 users cannot do that, but just be careful when you do that compared to Alibaba, which is usually meant for an overseas audience. They would have most of that stuff already negotiated. Now, the pricing for the products are typically cheaper on 168. Even though the pricing may look higher on Alibaba, they also have logistics channels set up so that you can essentially plug and play your way when it comes to actually purchasing goods on Alibaba. One thing I don't really like about 168 and Alibaba is that 168 typically has a very low MOQ, and you can literally filter products so that the MOQ is as low as one product when you're just trying things out. On Alibaba, it's a little bit larger. Let me show you an example. So this is a product on 168. It is a simple smartwatch. You can see based on the packaging, everything can be in English. It can be optimized for what you need. Well, let's see. Let me change it back to Chinese. The original posting, because it won't look like that. You can kind of get an idea that the supplier knows how to ship it overseas. But you can see here it has an MOQ of 2 on 168, and it's 17 RMB for 2. So if I were to Google 17 Chinese yuan to USD, it's less than $3. Now, if you use the image search, you can kind of guess it's essentially the same supplier. They offer the 11 series too, I believe, which is $7 here. And you can see there's already a price difference. So whereas in 168, it was less than $3, here it's between $7 to $9. Does that mean it's a better deal? Maybe, but you don't consider shipping here. So I would bet that this supplier here, 168, won't know how to ship. Give me an example. But Alibaba already has shipping prices. So it says $23.17 to ship 15 or 25 products. And they also have like customer service. They also have like ability to return everything. So you need to be very careful here when it comes to picking products just because it's cheaper on 168 than on Alibaba. On 168, if you don't have your shipping channels set up, this $3 watch can easily triple in price, especially if you don't have the logistics channels that, let's say, Alibaba does. So be very careful when it comes to figuring out if you should start with 168 or Alibaba. However, you can use this information as a framework for when you want to negotiate costs. I personally don't recommend just copying and pasting a product and reselling it somewhere unless it's like a super niche, maybe solves the problem for a specific audience, because what's going to make you stand out? Why are you going to go through all that work if you're not going to stand out? So that's one of the things I wanted to clear up, that just because it's cheaper on 168 than on Alibaba doesn't mean that from end to end service cheaper. I actually see this a lot with like the electronics, like people that want to sell the automatic lawnmowers. I've been getting a lot of requests for that. Electric lawnmowers that you can just plug in and then they'll go ahead and mow your lawn. On 168, the pricing is quite attractive. It's like between $100 and $300. But those things are heavy. So do you have shipping channels to ship them from China to your country? Have you calculated that cost? Export declaration fees? That's also included. That's not free to do. You need to report your exportation products to the government so that, you know, there's a database that tracks all the exports and imports. All these costs, if you add them up, can actually be more than on Alibaba, because Alibaba sets all that up for you. They have the services, they have the infrastructure, whereas 168 focuses primarily on the Chinese market. Speaking of focusing on the Chinese market, a couple things that are kind of already harped on is that, yep, the shipping, if you don't have the shipping set up, you're going to be in big trouble. And also the language support. So if you can't read or speak Chinese, good luck, especially when talking to suppliers. So if you want to like talk to this supplier right here, say, where's that little blue man button? Boop, boop, boop. Can't find the chat box here. Interesting. Okay, here I found the chat box. So you click on the little blue man, little blue jelly guy, and then all these conversations are in Chinese. Everything's in Chinese. Yeah, you can use Google Translate, but it hasn't really been embedded where you can actually have a conversation back and forth in one language. Now, one day it might get there on 168, but as of now, it's not like that. Whereas on Alibaba, they usually all speak English, or you can request for different language support and they will give you that support. But that Chinese language is not just platform costs. As I mentioned earlier, it's the packaging cost. A lot of the products are meant for the Chinese markets. So if you're trying to sell to a market that either speak Chinese, which I'm assuming is most of you guys watching this, then you're pretty much wasting your time, especially if you haven't confirmed with the supplier itself if they have the UI or the interface in the local language you want. Or another big pain in the butt is when you try and pay the suppliers. So if you don't have a passport, if you don't have an Alipay, if you don't have like a World First account, which takes quite a while to set up, it's not just a plug and play, you're gonna have problems paying the supplier. And if you don't really know how to use the platform 168, you can lose your money, because yes, they do have your money on escrow when you pay on that platform, but if you wait too long, like if they have a 7-day no questions asked return policy and you wait until the 8th day to deal with something because maybe your shipping agent hasn't gotten the product yet, you're gonna lose the money. And it happens a lot of the time if you don't know what you're doing. Speaking of dealing with 168 or Alibaba, if you need assistance in actually getting your e-commerce store started, you have an idea, you already have a product roadmap, or you have some kind of a product that will be unique to the market, it won't just be a copy and paste, and you need help finding suppliers and actually setting up the logistics, getting it set up for your e-commerce store, feel free to try our website, bordascommerce.net. It is free to try. You don't need to reach any problems with Alipay or WeChat and all that to use it, and you can sign up and even send us an email or give us a call and we can go ahead and help you with that. Overall, if you're thinking about which platform to start your sourcing journey on, I would recommend Alibaba. If you're a newbie, I don't recommend going to 168 until you actually have experience under your belt. Like, well, Alibaba makes it plug and play for you, but if you really want to improve on your margin, really do some customization directly with the factory. I mean, both Alibaba and 168 do private labeling if you have a product, but if you don't know how to directly contact the factory in 168, then you're gonna have problems, especially if you don't have a verified account, because again, you have to set up an Alipay account, which can be a pain in the butt if you don't have a passport, if you don't have a Chinese bank account, to actually link up with these suppliers overseas in China. And I actually recommend a lot of people just to start on like AliExpress, because at least you can get the reps in, it's a little bit more controlled. Whereas when you go with 168, then you have to usually buy in bulk. You should already have a fulfillment center or a warehouse in your local country to fulfill orders, because in today's day, no one's gonna wait 1 or 2 weeks for a package to arrive. I mean, especially because all the habits we've been used to with the Amazon and the same day shipping. In China, they have something called lightning shipping on Taobao, and it's essentially the same day shipping that you can order something in the morning and get it even that same morning or in the afternoon. If you're living in this fantasy world where you think you can drop ship a product from China to your home country, I would really challenge you to get the customer feedback on what their expectations are, especially if they're buying a product from you from the first time and it's a product that's not it doesn't have long-term value, where that they can't continue buying your product or service again. I always see people falling for the trap. They see a cheap price on 168, they want to sell it overseas in their country, and it's really hard to get a customer to actually buy it. Like a customer you don't know. I'm not talking about your friends or family that are being nice and like, okay, let me try it. But if you expect someone to wait 2 weeks for a product, like you're just out of your mind. Like unless it's like a very bulky, like a private sauna that you can install in your backyard, like something crazy like that, you gotta reach the customer expectations. So don't go into 168 until you actually have experience doing, like, let's just say AliExpress or Alibaba. Or if you already have a strong idea and you're looking for a partner, work with someone who has that experience on the ground to get it started. Now, if you found value from this video, please subscribe and like. And if you want to know how suppliers evaluate you, whether they should work with you in the future or just ghost you, watch this video right here.